All right, hockey fans, boy oh boy, do we have a fun episode of NHL hockey tonight. Tampa Bay, Toronto, in Toronto. Tampa Bay is on the ropes, okay? It's been since, obviously, they lost the cup to Colorado last year, but the last time that the Lightning lost an elimination playoff game was the sweep to Columbus, and they've won some games in between then and now. Okay, so I'm going to give you my prediction. I'm going to give you my reasons. They may not be the exact reasons you might want. I think Tampa's going to win this one. I'm going with 4-3 in overtime. It's going to mirror what happened with the Panthers last night, with the exception of the breakaway with 5 seconds left. We won't put you through that. But I don't have a hockey reason for that prediction. What I have is I cannot imagine Tampa Bay is going to allow themselves to be the first team eliminated. That's hard for me to swallow. Now, I have a suspicion that even if they win tonight, I think Toronto's going to close this out. But with all of the ghosts of the past for Toronto, and the game is in Toronto, and Tampa Bay is up against it, nobody else has been eliminated, I got to go with Tampa tonight just for those reasons. I would be shocked if Toronto can eliminate this team on the first try, and by first try I mean this year. Obviously, we know what happened last year, so if it gets back to, it was 3-2, now it's 3-1, Toronto's got to be feeling pretty good about themselves, but Tampa Bay won in Toronto, Toronto won in Tampa Bay. You've seen how that's going with the Panthers and the Bruins, right? Look at the Rangers and the Devils, okay? Home ice, for whatever reason this year, home ice ain't what it used to be. That's for sure. So I suspect we're going to see a big effort from Tampa coming out the door. I think they might get another lead. I think Toronto will come back. But I think this time Tampa Bay is going to take it in overtime just because. That is my expert hockey analysis. The main reason I'm picking Tampa Bay is just because. That's what I got for you right now. Because there ain't a whole lot else that's going on in these playoffs, especially in the Eastern Conference. It's making a lot of sense. The Rangers win both in Jersey, and then Jersey wins both in New York. What? Come on. The Panthers lose both in Boston, or the Panthers lose both at home, but the last 2 games in Boston, they've beaten the Bruins in Boston. This is something funky going on, okay, when those are the results that we're getting, all right? So, in terms of on ice, like JC just said in this stream, Vasilevsky has the tendency to show up in the big moments, in the elimination games. I think he will tonight, but he's been more human in this series than we've seen him in quite some time. On the other end of it, Toronto, ghosts. Not just ghosts. They got ghosts, they got poltergeists, you got demons, you got Rosemary's Baby, all right? You got the priest and the exorcist. You guys got it all. So no shame in losing this game. No, I don't think, I haven't seen what the pundits would say, but there's nobody going to be surprised if it takes a couple of whacks at the golf ball to get the hole-in-one here for the Leafs. So, all right, Tampa. This is it, man. The run is clearly coming to an end. Tampa is not going to win the Eastern Conference this year. I think we can all agree there. How much do they have left in the gas tank? Can Stamkos, Kucherov, Point, Hedman, can these guys pull a rabbit out of their ass one more time? Maybe. All right, so 1-1 after 1. Very odd period of play. Tampa comes out. They had the better of play for a little bit. And then, Toronto gets a goal. And that goal that Vasilevsky gave up, I know some people are saying that some of the criticisms of Vasilevsky isn't really on point. Not just mine, but other people's criticism. That's a goal Vasilevsky stops when Tampa's winning cups. It just is what it is. It was a clean shot. It wasn't deflected. He just missed it. It wasn't high, it wasn't low. It just went right past his. He just missed it. And it happens. And then Tampa does what I didn't think they was going to do, which was 20 seconds, 30 seconds. It wasn't that long later. Boom, Cirelli puts one in, and that's where we are, tied at 1. Since then, Vasilevsky has looked more like himself. He's made a few good saves. Samsonov looks decent. He's given up some rebounds. Tampa can't really get to him. Both teams have had a power play. Tampa's power play looked decent, but they're just a little bit off. They're just a little bit off. And I mean, my Panthers played Tampa last 2 postseasons, so I have intimate. I won't say I have intimate knowledge, but I have intimate memories, not so intimate memories. They're just a little bit off. Like, they look tired. I mean, I don't want to make excuses for them because the Leafs are going to win. I think the Leafs might win this game. To be honest with you, they're getting plenty of chances. It's only a matter of time before they get another 1 or 2 past Vasilevsky, and I'm just seeing a lot of standing still when it's time to work from the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially in the defensive zone. I'm seeing guys kind of standing still, like, are you going to get the puck? Are you? No, I'll get it. All right, I'll go get it. Very un-Tampa-like, but they've played a lot of hockey. And Toronto, I'm not taking anything away from the Leafs, but let's face it, eventually somebody was going to play the Lightning when they had kind of run out of gas. Now, we've thought they ran out of gas last year against Toronto, and then they, somewhere along the way, I don't know, they must have switched to solar or electric, because last year we kind of said the same thing, and then Tampa came back and won the rest of the games. So I ain't counting them out just yet, but this has a little bit of a different feel to it. We'll move on to second period. All right, so 2-1 Tampa after 2. They ain't going to just die. They're like if Dracula had a baby with the werewolf and then they died and it was the ghost of Dracula's baby werewolf. You know what I'm trying to say. You need like 3 stakes through the heart and silver bullets and decapitate them, and then you have to bury the body separate from the head because they will reassemble and they just won't die. Now, they are ahead courtesy of a bad goal allowed by Samsonov. Other than that, the play's been kind of even this period. Both teams have had their opportunities. Vasilevsky has not had a whole lot of work. Now, right there at the end of the period, Pat Maroon's going to get called something for his hit on Giordano. They weren't sure. They think they might call it roughing. It is a little late. I thought they never could get him for boarding. I mean, the puck had kind of left. The couple of penalties that they did call have been kind of weak. Both ways. Like, okay, I guess we're going to call something. Then, of course, Toronto delays the game. I think that's the only power plays we've had so far until this. I mean, look, if you're a Leaf fan, you think it's a penalty. If you're a Lightning fan, you think it's not. I can... Kind of is. It's kind of surprised to see that get called, but the positioning of it and the timing of it, there was nothing else going on the ice, you know what I mean? So the refs kind of have their full attention pretty much right there, right as the period is ending. Maroon didn't need to do that. It's kind of, you're not going to send a message by hitting Giordano there up against the boards at the end there. It wasn't necessary to tempt the referees to make the call. And sometimes I think the referees make the calls just because it's obvious that the player is trying to push the boundaries of, I don't think they'll call this, so I'll do it. And that's Pat Maroon. So Toronto's going to start the third period on the power play. Building got quiet. Definitely the building got quiet a little bit. You can see the ghosts and the demons are all in the upper deck right now. If Tampa gets another one, they're going to move to the box seats, and then it's only going to get worse from there. So let's move on. I was going to say let's move on to the third period and finish the game, But damn, if there was ever a game that smelled like overtime, this is the one. So, Toronto fans, I want you to understand something. That I'm rooting for Tampa. I want Tampa to win. I'm not happy about the prospects about Toronto fans getting their hearts broken. But I just, at the end of the game, right after the game, the announcer says, Toronto fans came here to see something special tonight, but instead they just saw more of what they're used to. That's cold, okay? That wasn't right. On behalf of a Panther fan rooting for Tampa, I would like to apologize on behalf of whoever it was that said that. Because that was cold, man. I'm not laughing at you. I honestly am not. That was not right. I mean, that hurt. That was, damn. Don't get on that dude's bad side. All right, so 3-2 Tampa wins. Actually, no, 4-2. Excuse me. They got the empty net there with. I was getting a little twitchy because if you watched the pregame, I said 4-3 Tampa in overtime, and when Toronto with 4 minutes left made it 3-2, I said, oh, we might be here a while. And they had some really, really good chances, but Andre Vasilevsky decided to show up in hole tonight, okay? That was Vasilevsky. That was the dude for the most part that we have seen throughout the playoffs. And now, look, if you're a Toronto fan, I don't need to tell you this, but you've got to be a little bit concerned because it was 4-1, and then you had the massive comeback. And then tonight, Tampa won again, right? Now, I know that you can't take away the fact that you made the massive comeback and won, but if there wasn't that comeback, it would be 3-2 Tampa right now. So I don't know what the level of confidence would be if I'm a Maple Leaf fan that they're going to close this out. Now you got to go back to Tampa. This is like the mirror image almost of my Panthers and Bruins, right? So we'll see how this goes. I think both are going 7. That's what I originally said at the start of both series. That it was going to be Tampa in 7 and my Panthers in 7. And right now, I wouldn't bet against either one of those. I know a lot of people don't think my Panthers can take the Bruins out, but we beat them twice in Boston, and that says we can beat that team. But in terms of Tampa and Toronto, Toronto, I mean, they had... I feel bad. I do. It's like, how long are you all going to have to suffer? And I know it's not over, and I'm sure that at least 60% of you probably feel like you can go into Tampa and win it. I don't know if any of you really feel like you can win Game 7 in Toronto simply because of the history of the Leafs. Now, in terms of on the ice tonight, it was pretty much an even game. Each team took turns getting the better of the play. Sometimes Tampa would get in a wave and look better. Sometimes Toronto would get moving and they would look better. It definitely, after the first period, Tampa definitely picked it up with the energy level a little bit. I saw a little bit too much standing around in that first period, a little bit more than I'm used to from seeing from Tampa. In terms of Toronto, it's one of those games where you can't point to any real mistakes that y'all made that cost you the game. Now, I heard a lot of booing from the crowd in terms of the refs. I'm not a big ref guy in terms of the whole big picture. I will bitch about a call here or a call there. But Toronto started the third period out with a 2-minute power play, and Tampa had 2 really good shorthanded chances. So Toronto did not take advantage of that at that point, and it was only 2-1 at that point, right? I believe that's correct. Yeah, it was only 2-1 at that point. So I'm not I will bitch about a call here or a call there, but usually even when I'm complaining about a call, I'm not a guy that believes a call really is going to have an effect on the outcome of the game unless it's like an egregious call made with like under 5 minutes to go and a team doesn't have a chance to respond. So, but if you're a Leaf fan and you feel like the referees missed some calls that would have hurt you or helped you, I can empathize with that totally. This was the worst possible matchup for Toronto to try to exercise the demons against, because there's no team that's going to want to stay alive more and longer than Tampa, because they don't want that run to end. Of course not, right? So, tomorrow night, I mean, we've got it set up here, and I think I might have mentioned this earlier. There's a possibility if the games go to 7, if the series goes to 7 games, there's a possible 4 Game 7s that could be played on Sunday alone if they all go. So we will be back tomorrow. I'm going to have a heart monitor. I'm going to have definitely the resuscitation device. I forget the name of it. And I'm going to have the paddles. I'm going to have the nitroglycerin. I'm going to have all of the stuff ready for me tomorrow night. And then Saturday in Tampa. Look, I expect both series to go 7. I've said that. But even now, like forgetting about what I said before the series started, I think both of these are going 7 games, and these could be some classic finishes, and we still could see a Panthers Lightning second round. Do not discount the possibility of that, okay? It could be Toronto Boston, it could be any combination at this point. I don't know what Toronto does from here in terms of Toronto played a good game. They played a good game. There's nothing that you point to where Toronto made like stupid mistakes or something that really cost them the game, with the exception of the one bad goal that Samsonov let in. But you have to be able to overcome those things, right? Bad goals are going to happen. You have to be able to come back and score. But Toronto just has to... You just have to go out there and play your game and hope for a better result. There's really no big change. There's really nothing you can do about a game like tonight. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to lose. And, last thing I'll say is I'm torn. I really genuinely am torn. I want Tampa to win. I want my Panthers to win. I want a Panthers Lightning series so that my Panthers can be the team that vanquishes Darth Vader. But all that said, Leaf fans, it's like they're showing them in the stands again, and I'm like, oh God, you're breaking my heart. Some guys like this, and there's some kids crying, and I'm like, stop showing me that, all right? It's not right. I look, Leaf fans, if you look at our playoff histories from the time that the Panthers were born, obviously the Leafs have their cups and they have all of that. But if you look at our franchise's histories since about the time that the Panthers came in to existence, they ain't all that different. They're really not. I mean, we made it to the cup, right? You guys didn't, okay? Or did you? I don't know. When was the last? It's not all that different. So the point is that I know where I would be mentally if I was in your shoes. And so as much as I want Tampa to win, it's like I don't want Toronto to lose at the same time. I'm genuinely torn. So this is going 7 games. This is one of the best playoffs in entirety in the league in a while. We had no sweeps, right? And so far nobody's won in 5 either, right? Now New Jersey is fixing to get Gerard Gallant fired. That's one thing that's fixing to happen. Gallant they blew a 2-0 lead against Tampa Bay last year, and they had a 2-0 lead against New Jersey right now, in games, and New Jersey's winning the game 3-0. They're fixing to take a 3-2 lead. If the Rangers blow that series, Gallant's going to get fired. That's my call there. So, all right. Tomorrow's Friday, so we still have the podcast. I do a Monday through Friday 1-hour podcast, just about 1 hour Monday through Friday for members and Patreon supporters. The links are in the description for that. It starts at $3 a month. And then Kyle and I will be back ready to rock and roll tomorrow night. Panthers Bruins Game 6. Holy crap. And then we will be back Saturday for Tampa Toronto Game 6. And then we'll be back Sunday for at least probably 2 Game 7s. There's going to be at least half of these series are going to Game 7s. So it's a busy weekend. Appreciate all the new subscribers. I do read all the comments. A lot of times I don't have time to get to responding to the comments until a couple of days later. Because like I said, I run a couple of other businesses here out of the house. And it's an old house, so I have a tendency to run in. We've had a lot of problems. We had a problem with the furnace. We had a problem with the water heater broke this morning. So sometimes I lose entire days getting things fixed up in the house. So it is what it is. So, all right. Let me know in the comments, Toronto fans. I'm genuinely curious. Like, where are you right now? Like, are you guys like, yeah, we got this time? Or are the ghosts and demons of the past, like, are you calling Ghostbusters at this point? Are you calling The Exorcist? I'm just curious. I'll see y'all tomorrow.